What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Bubba Speed career mode in MotoGP 19, and Bubba is currently tied for 4th in the standings. And of course, we're going into the part of the season where, personally, I feel like Bubba has the best chance of actually getting wins and getting as many points as possible. We're gonna have Mugello, Catalunya, then I think Assen, Sachsenring, and then that's pretty much where the tracks that are favorable for Bubba start to come to an end. But Mugello is one of those tracks that I don't know, it's just, it feels right. There's everything about it is pretty much perfect, and it's the one track on the MotoGP calendar where I feel like it's literally the perfect track. And I can't wait to see what we can actually do here with Bubba, because I feel like if Bubba doesn't win at Mugello, then there's a really big problem. Of course, he finishes qualifying on pole, and the only thing that we can say is that Mugello is actually a very fast track. So there's a lot of parts of the track where top speed has a big impact on how well you can actually do. So keep that in mind. The bike still has severe top speed issues, and also let's not forget that because this is a low tier bike, the peak performance of it, so once you develop it to the maximum, it's still going to be pretty trash compared to some of the other bikes on the grid. It's definitely one of the worst ones. I think you can only have like 75% peak performance compared to the other bikes on the grid. Of course, there are some that are more or less on this team's level, but for the most part, everybody has a better bike than Bubba right now. So it's not going to be easy. Like, this is a part of the track where technically Bubba should have a big advantage, because it's all about how you come in and out of corners. Of course, Bubba likes to take advantage of some runoffs here and there, especially because, as we've mentioned a few times in the series before, the AI pretty much always stays exactly on the correct line. Like, you can see, like right here, following these guys, they are very seldom actually getting into different lines than the opponents, unless like these two guys who are battling, Antonelli and I think probably Canet. Those two, oh sorry, Mazia. Those two guys are changing their line a little bit, but that's just because they're battling. And even when they're battling, you don't really see too much passing. They just kind of chill behind each other. So nothing too crazy. But yeah, this is the part of the track where Bubba definitely has the advantage, especially this little chicane right here, like this 1 and then the 2. That's probably where you're going to see Bubba get the biggest advantage, just because for some reason the AI slows down a bit there. But this turn right here is where, if Bubba doesn't get it correct, then he's pretty much fucked for the straight. Like, this is a very long straight, one of the longest on the entire calendar. So because of the fact that, you know, look at this, just he has to be at least half a second ahead to be able to be, you know, at least somewhat confident that he's gonna get over the line ahead of Antonelli or Mazia, whoever's in second. So it's not gonna be easy, considering the game, when it comes to race day, makes it just really difficult, especially because they don't really care about who's around them. But this is part of the track right here, is also one of the more difficult parts, because it really does set you up poorly if you get it wrong. This one, thankfully, you have this little straightaway, so you can kind of set yourself up for the next ones. And this right here is very important. If you get it wrong, like Bubba did right there, then that can happen, first of all. And you can also be in for a very slow part of the track that's coming up right here. You have this little right turn going down the hill, going down Casanova, and you have Savelli. Of course, you want to avoid banging into people like that, but if it happens, it happens. Then, if you come up here, you don't have to hit the brakes. You can just let off, and you can really hammer the throttle coming out of it, and you're going to get a great drive. Up this hill, you once again don't have to hit the brakes. You just go full throttle. You barely let off midway through the turn, and then you can hit this turn pretty well. If you can get it right, then you're going to set yourself up very well for this left right here. And as soon as you get out of it, you hit the gas. You should be able to get a good, pretty solid drive. Bubba kind of blew it there, but it's not too bad. This one, I like to take it a little bit wide through here and then hit the gas really hard. That way, as you pull out, you can see Mazia is still going pretty slowly, but he's trying to be conservative going through the chicane. But Bubba has no fucking fear. He's going to go through the chicane full blast, and he comes out of it pretty strong. And then once again, the really big issue is this last turn, because if you fuck it up, then Bubba's going to get drafted and he's going to get destroyed. Looks like this time it came out really, really well. Didn't run wide. Didn't cut it too close. So at this distance, Bubba should be safe. As we go into the last lap, Bubba should have a solid half a second at least over second. I would say probably like a there we go, more like a second. So solid gap right here. And if Bubba can keep it clean, then there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to go in and get this W. This first turn is actually kind of difficult, but the good thing about it is that it does have plenty of width to it, so if you do run it wide, then you're not going to risk crashing. This one, like I said, this is all about technique, just about getting the perfect drive coming out of it, and not being too fast going into it, because you don't want to come out too hot. That was perfect, pretty much. Ran a little bit wide, but it wasn't too bad. The next chicane is going to be very important. Bubba blows it. That's a bad... Oh, it hits the grass. Could have been a crash right there. Not good for Bubba, because this gives them a chance to get right back up on his ass. Going down to Casanova, up to Savelli. So far, so good in this part of the track for Bubba, which is really where he needs to make his ground. This is where the gap needs to be built as much as possible, going through the Arrabbiata 1, up to the Arrabbiata 2. Gets through it fine. Very, very important here. Nobody's all that close to him, so can take it slow. Not like that though. That's way too wide. And you'll notice that as the time goes on, as you go through the laps, it gets visibly more difficult to race. Despite it being 3 laps, the tires are still shit. And remember, I'm using a hard rear and a medium front. Was still causing some problems. Luckily, coming out of here, slid a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, get through the Biondettis. Got a good drive through there. There's a second gap, more or less, between Bubba and Dalla Porta in second. If he can nail this turn, he should be fine. That's pretty much perfect. Get the drive out of it. That's perfect. Boom. That should be the W. That should be, what is it, the 3rd win of the season for Bubba? Yeah, that's for sure. There's no way in hell they're catching him right there. I mean, unless they have like Superbike I think it was Superbike 07 or 08. For some reason, you could have turbo or something like that. You would hit nitrous out of nowhere. It made no sense in the simulation game, but alright. Alright, Bubba. There it is. First win in Mugello in this game for me personally. So, shows you how little I played the game before doing this career mode. Despite the game actually being really, really good. I gotta say, the game's really, really good compared to other ones too. Like, I didn't play, I think, MotoGP... I have to check, but I think it was like MotoGP 11 through 13 I didn't play. But I played Valentino Rossi the game, which I think was 14. Played 16, I think it was 18. So I played a bunch. But maybe I should do like a tier list video about that. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see that, where we tier list each MotoGP game. Meanwhile, Bubba's having the time of his life. That's like his 3rd win of the season. Not too shabby for a guy on the Skull Rider team. As we now move on to Catalunya, another track that I absolutely adore. Like, there are some tracks that to this day give me problems, like the new Assen gives me some problems, but this track right here is just phenomenal. It might just be because it's in so many different racing games. Maybe it's because I've played it thousands of times, but there's just something about it that I absolutely love. Mugello, Catalunya, Sachsenring, even Le Mans, even though we had a poor performance there, but I think it was wet, so we're kind of justified. Not a very good performance in qualifying due to the rain, so we have a lot of ground to make up, starting in 15th. And of course, you know how it works. The start is always very, very bad for Bubba Speed. The poor guy just can't get anything going. I honestly don't know if there's a secret to it. To getting good starts, but hopefully that'll improve as time goes on. Bubba almost crashes out going through the first turn, has no choice but to run it a little bit inside and cut through. Luckily, no penalties because he did a good job of letting other people get past him. So no harm was done to anybody else. So Bubba can keep it calm. He can try to just race his own race. It's never easy when you have so many people ahead of you, but a win here would be pretty much legendary at this point, starting from so far back. Only a guy like Marc Marquez could do that, or Valentino Rossi in his prime. Let's see if Bubba's that level racer, especially with this shit bike. Goes past 2 guys right there in that corner. And I'm probably going to get past him again because Bubba does run wide, but he still holds it together. and he gets a decent drive coming up this hill. He's going to have this dink to the left, and that's a very, very important turn, because if you blow this, then you don't set yourself up well at all for this turn right here, but in particular, this one, where if you nail it, the AI has no chance of staying ahead of you. If you get it right, like, I mean, Bubba kind of got lucky there because there was somebody to bounce off of, but, you know, if you get it right, then you're going to get a really, really good drive, and this turn right here is very, very hard. You have to get it correct, or you're going to be fucked up. Now, what I like to do going through that turn is brake into it and then use the rear brake about midway through, alongside, just afterwards, slamming the throttle, though you get a good drive out of there, sliding a little bit so you can get through it pretty easily. And this part, thankfully they don't have the damn chicane in there, they have the classic Catalunya. I might be wrong, for some reason I remember there being a chicane nowadays, but I prefer it this way regardless. Maybe that's only in Formula 1. Regardless, Bubba Speed, this is a long straightaway, so much like Mugello, he has to get a good drive out of the last turn if he wants to avoid getting passed coming up to the finish line. So it's going to be very, very important to see what happens there. This time almost crashes on his own, doesn't run through the middle, the inside runoff though, thankfully. Try to keep it somewhat clean. Bubba right now currently in 11th, has a lot of ground to make up, not looking too good for first. But you see, if you get the right drive through there, because a lot of times the AI, they like to take it really wide. I prefer to just kind of cut it a little bit and make the track as short as possible. Of course, using people, you know, as an Apaggio every once in a while, somebody you can just bump into. It always helps, especially because the bike just doesn't turn really half the time. So you really do have to improve the bike a lot before you can actually be competitive. And we still have a long way to go before this bike is competitive on a consistent basis. This is, like I said, one of the most important parts of the track. Meanwhile, Bubba is having a battle right now for this 5th spot. I mean, there's no denying that he's already done something that's pretty damn impressive. Right now, on the verge of getting up to the top 3 guys and potentially actually winning the race. He's on, I think this is Ramirez's ass. Oof. Can he get past 2 or 3? He gets past 1. Gets a good drive out of it, thankfully. But not enough to stay ahead of, who is that, Mazia? I always have a hard time distinguishing these guys because they're pretty fucking similar. Like, they're you know, the leathers and all that is very similar, so makes it a bit difficult, especially because you don't really notice too much. Oh, well, that was Migno, aka Migno. Alright, Canet. So Canet and Antonelli, and I guess Dalla Porta a little bit, are the guys who have to worry about beating the most. Those are the 3 guys that are battling for us against us in the championship, and of course, they're the top 3. So basically, a win here is as important as ever. I mean, there's not much we can do apart from winning if we want to at least keep up with these guys in the standings. Already got a good jump after Mugello, so a win here could, I think, put Bubba top of the leagues, or top of the championship, which wouldn't be bad at all. Unfortunately, not looking so good right now. However, this is the turn right here where he can gain on the 3 bastards ahead of him. He gets a great drive coming out of it, too. He's all over their asses. Gets past 2. Dalla Porta is the next victim. Oof, Bubba's keeping it clean. Smart move, not going too crazy. He runs it wide, but that's exactly what he needs to do, because then he cut back over through here, and he's going to get a great drive going into the next turn, and he can go around the inside. There he goes. Look at that. Dives into him. Gets past him. All right. Down to the part where there's plenty of opportunities here for Bubba to actually cover the turn. Doesn't do a good job there, but still gets a better drive going into the turn. He's going to come out very, very strong. And this last turn, not this last turn, but this turn right here is going to be very, very important. Takes it a little bit too conservative, which is why Dalla Porta's on his fucking ass. But still a chance here. He has to watch out. Just as long as he doesn't get past right here, he should be okay, because there's really no room to get past. Oh, he runs really, really wide. Can he get a good drive out of it, though? Probably going to get past there. Oh, shit. Look at that. Dalla Porta is no longer second. He's... Oof. Oh, man. Bubba's at risk, man. Look at that tire. Bubba playing it defensively, just covering the inside. Don't give them anywhere to pass. That's the most important thing right now. Come out of this last turn well, and he should have the W. He comes out of it pretty quick. Goes a little bit wide, but it should be enough. Take a look at the radar in the bottom left corner. Boom, that's perfect. way too far ahead. That's 2 wins on the bounce for Bubba Speed. Looking good so far. I'm not gonna say he's the favorite to win the title, but so far so good. Got a few wins under his belt, 2 in a row. That's definitely something to take into consideration here. Is that looking good? Okay, so 5 points ahead of Antonelli, 11 points ahead of Dalla Porta, and Canet is 18 points back. So a bit of a gap here. Antonelli's still gonna be a threat. That's for damn sure. And I feel like the next race is going to really tell us a lot. If Bubba Speed can go to Assen, which is a track that I'm trash at, then that'll really have a big impact, I think, on the season. Question is, will that happen? Because Assen is really a problem for me. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, because as always, that's by far the best way you can support a small channel like this one. I mean, like, YouTube doesn't give a damn about anybody who doesn't make them a ton of money. So pretty much, you know, I invest a lot of my time to do this stuff, and I really appreciate all the support you guys give me. And yeah, follow me on Twitch as well, and on Mixer. I'll leave all the links in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.